let me in.
The world ended. Didn't you get the memo?
You said it.
Come on, guys, let's go for a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
So fetch. What is fetch?
Oh, it's like slang from England.
I'm Charlotte Blackwood.
I'm Maverick.
Maverick? Does your mother not like you or something?
Chunk is dead. Don't say that. Never say that. Goonies never say die.
It's the Al Travis Show, and he's been with us for quite some time. Love having him on. He's Senator Jeff Howe. We call him Colonel Doge. But you know, that old Colonel Doge thing, even, Senator, that got tarnished pretty good. We're riding pretty hard on the Doge thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam. And what I don't get about it is why. He found massive amounts of fraud, whether the number got to 1 trillion or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Why did that die so hard?
Well, did it just get old? I mean, it's still there. They're still doing their work, but it's not a news flash anymore. And we do have to continue to spearhead that deal and actually dig up our fraud and actually put in place the policies that are going to prevent this from happening again. That's got to be the thing that we have to do, and we got to put people as commissioners in charge of those agencies that are willing to step to the plate and do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but I think it has a lot to do with Elon Musk, right? He had to step back down running Doge and start taking care of his own companies and stuff. Then you don't have that daily press conference. I don't even know the guy running Doge, right? I mean, when Musk talks, people listen, you don't get it so much. Let me ask you this, because you've been there, done that. For folks who don't know, you have decided not to run for another term, so you're freelance. So if I thought you were talking all the truth before, I can't wait now. Let me ask you this. In the governor's race, everybody waited on the Democratic side forever to see if the governor would get in, right? I mean, we didn't know who was going to run for that seat. There could have been 3, 4, 5, 10 people. And while we're waiting, I think the Republicans, I think you have 14 or 15 now. I mean, everybody with an R behind their name, they're in on this bad boy. But the governor gets in. So he finally gets in. Everybody on the Democratic side finds a place. Right, I'm going to run here, I'm going to run here, I'm going to run for the seat I had before. Everybody settles in. It's almost going on 3 weeks now that the governor then decided he can't run again. He won't run again. He had talked with Senator Klobuchar the day before. She's in. She's got it if she wants it. And the rumor was within a week, right? You couldn't do it the next day. That seems a little set up. So he's going to do it within a week. We're almost 3 weeks in. I think 8 days? 9 days away from the caucuses, and there is no one running on the Democratic side for governor. How is that possible, sir?
I'm thinking I'm going to put a D behind my name and run. I mean, it's unreal that I think I do believe that the atmosphere right now that has been created on that side of the aisle with ICE, with the protest, with the fraud, all the things that have compounded there, who really wants to step in and answer for that? Who wants to be that guy on that side of the aisle with the cast of folks that you have to deal with in the legislature to change the atmosphere? Okay. And is there a palate on that side of the aisle to do so? And how do you handle that? And I don't know of anyone, including Senator Klobuchar, that wants that task.
Well, Minnesota right now is actually nuclear, right? The spotlight is so hot here. Whoever gets in is going to be studied from top to bottom. I get it. But I guess I'm looking at, and what's the guy's name? Chris Madel on the Republican, Madel, the attorney guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I follow along pretty well. Didn't know him. Comes out of there. He says, I got a shot at this bad boy. You're telling me there isn't a Democrat in the state of Minnesota that we probably haven't heard of, an attorney here, somebody with a business that, I can run a business, a Mike Lindell, if you will, of the Democratic side, that doesn't see this as an opportunity. What I mean by that, it's still Minnesota. The Republicans haven't won a statewide race in 30 years, whether it's all prime or not. I get that. But you at least got a 50-50 shot. And 9 days before the caucus, no one has stepped up and said, I'll give, what is it, $300? I'll put my $300 in, put my hat in the ring, And if Senator Klobuchar jumps in, I get wiped out. I got it. But you get my point. How does there do they follow the company line so hard that if they're told no one goes in until we decide what Senator Klobuchar wants?
I think that they are very good soldiers. They take
Okay.
orders well. They follow, and I still believe there's no one in their right mind that really believes that they can handle
What's
the and run the table that has been set for them. I mean, because I do believe still there's a lot of folks that have walked away
Mhm.
from the Democratic Party.
Okay. Well,
With
I
what
get
is
your
going
point. If you were a sitting senator or a House person and you have votes on some of the things that got us to the point we're here, I get your point about setting that table. But there must be other Democrats in the world that run ABC Corporation, a million, you know what I'm saying? That there just have to be others, and they're not getting in. And I find that interesting. When you have 15, 14, 15 on the Republican side.
If you're running a company,
Yeah.
I get it, right?
Yeah.
And you're a Democrat, but you want to tackle this mess?
Well, you want to give
I
up
mean,
everything you've
that's
got.
a heck
Yeah.
of a challenge to decide that you want to step into the foray of what
Yeah.
they have, the where they're at. I mean, how do
Yeah.
you? I don't. I mean, it's one thing on this side of the aisle because you can go ahead and change a lot of atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting. You don't see any commissioners stepping to the plate because they're all tainted.
Yeah.
Anybody that's connected with anybody uh, is
Yeah.
going to be under a microscope. Who wants to go under that? Who wants
No,
to put their family through that?
yeah. No, don't disagree. Okay, so let's go from the governor's race on that side to this side. And I don't speak for you, but I'm sure you'll say you're a big fan of Dameth, right? I mean, you guys legislatively run the same neck of the woods. You have, as I understand it, convinced her to get into politics to begin with. And someday I'm going to ask her if she's happy that you did that to her. But that being said, you're pro Dameth, right? I mean, I'm not speaking out of turn.
I am. I'm
Okay.
on that side of the camp. I've been in her ear for a long time. So yeah.
Okay. So just so everybody knows where we're coming from. On that, there are 14 or 15. You lose track of the number of people that are running for this thing. When does this field start to shrink?
I think you're going to see it very, very. I think after the delegate
The
piece,
caucus? Okay.
especially at the end of February, you're going to see this all start to form up, and you're going to see a lot fewer candidates because
Okay.
after the conventions and the delegates get selected, people are going to know. Well, I only got a half a dozen delegates here, a half dozen
Yeah.
delegates there. This isn't going to work for me.
But then the brilliance of that system, if there is, I'm not a real big fan of this whole caucus thing unless you're going to push it much further ahead. But that being said, then it becomes the forerunners, and let's just use Dameth as an example because you know her. Then it behooves Representative Dameth, Speaker Dameth, to be the second one, right? If you were voting for Bob and Bob's getting out because Bob can't get enough traction, you want those delegates. So it's kind of being get the most votes, but then you got to make sure you get those that now fall off, right? I mean, how does a campaign do that? I mean, you're talking to everybody, I'm sure, but you got to be number one by most and number two by the rest.
True statement, but and they say, well, if I can't get you on the first vote because you've dedicated your first vote here, can I get you on the second vote? Can I get you on the third vote? I mean, so as long as you can stay in the race long enough, especially at the state convention, right?
Yeah.
That's where it's important. Is at the state convention, that's where the deals start to be made, and the thing is those that can make the deals and those that negotiate the best are the ones that end up there. So let's say, and somebody was saying, well, this guy's going to go there. And I said, I've been to a lot of those state conventions and I sit there, oh, wait, you don't realize there's going to be a deal. There's always a deal. Somebody makes a deal. I'll give you a cabinet position. I'll give you a commissionership. I'll put you in the,
and then all of a sudden
the deals are made and things happen. Now, I've seen it to where people aren't the deal makers, right? They're not the Trumps of the world. They don't know how to negotiate. They haven't been in business. And that cost them, and I think that's where, and I'll put it out there, that's where Kendall Qualls falls short.
Yep.
He doesn't take guidance well. He doesn't make those deals, and that's what cost him, especially at the convention. And that's why you're going to see some of these people push it to the primary. Now, to me, that hurts us on the Republican side pretty bad, because we're pretty loyal to those folks.
Yeah.
That, on the Democrat side, it's almost a kiss of death to get the endorsement, because not very many of them survive the primary. The primary always goes to
the other way,
folks.
Right.
So,
all right, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to paraphrase. You said within the next month or so, we're going to start seeing that pare down from 15. We'll get down to a manageable number. I say that.
Dozen, yeah.
Yeah, you can't get everybody. I mean, 15 people. That's just you can't even get everybody on the same stage to discuss what's going on.
You'll see that, because I just was at one. I was just talking to someone that went to one just the other day, and they would only allow 7. Right, that's it. And so that's what you're going to see. You're going to have 6 or 7 front runners, and that's going to be about the size of it until the primary, or until
even at 7. Before we go to break, I want to talk with Michelle Tafoya, who got in, and so does David Hand on the Senate side. I want to tell you, even 6 or 7, because I've moderated a few of these things. That's too many. And what I mean by that is, because so many people, and you want to get questions on so many things, you have a minute. You have a minute each. And then also, like, you're going to ask someone to say how you're going to stop, ICE raids in Minnesota. Give me 60 seconds. Some stuff you have to have time to discuss. And with even 7, I think that's too many.
I agree. And I will tell you that's why I push for a primary in March.
See,
let's settle it out in March. And I've got the bill to do so. I've got the constitutional amendment. We'll see if we can make stuff happen.
Fair enough. We got to go to break. I want to ask you about, David Hand got in, and that almost went by with no one even catching on. But Michelle Tafoya got in yesterday. We're going to have her on the program today. I want to talk to you about that. He is Senator Jeff Howe on the Al Travis Show.
When the stakes are high at the Minnesota Capitol, you need more than a lobbyist. You need a partner. At Momentum Advocacy, we bring nearly 90 years of combined experience in government relations, public affairs, and strategic communications. From nonprofits to national corporations, we help organizations navigate Minnesota's political landscape with integrity, insight, and results. Whether you need legislative champions or headlines, Momentum Advocacy delivers. For more, visit momentum-advocacy.com. Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
A as in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
I've got him, Senator Jeff Howe, on the program with us. Before we get to Michelle Tafoya and the Senate side, you were talking about task force and working groups yesterday. What were you talking about?
Well, say I was on I got put on 3 working groups this interim. And they asked me, we had a vote on whether we should have a recommendation to have another one of these on the electricity as a fuel. How do we tax this? We had a working group on that, right? Okay. And they wanted to know if we wanted to have another one in 5 years. And I said, no. I said, here's your problem. I said, what we're doing is we are leaning towards a year-round legislature, which is, to me, wrong. And I said, the other thing it is we are doing what we should be doing in the legislative process. So the whole committee hears this information. And I said, the legislature is an educational process. Nothing good happens fast. This stuff should be vetted out and worked over time. I mean, I tell about the first real bill that I did. It took me 4 years to get done. And it was a much better bill at the end of that 4 years than it was in the beginning. Because everybody had some input and a comment, and we kept working on it to make it a better bill. I'm totally against task force at all these working groups. We should do that in the legislative process
in front of
during
people
those months. And it should take us years to get something done because change is hard and change should be done within the public square.
Love that. Thank you very much. Let's move to Michelle Tafoya, who, by the way, is supposedly going to be on the program here later on today. See how these things work out, but she's supposed to be on. She jumps in. Senator Hand last week got in, but buried, right? I mean, I don't know how many people actually noticed it because all the stuff going on in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Do you know how many people, sir, I'm not a trick question, make you smile. Do you know how many people are running for U.S. Senate from the Republican side?
I think at least 7.
10 with Michelle.
Oh, well, there you go. So,
but go ahead.
No, here's the deal: is that there is a big movement to get, their establishment right. So Han had been a senator. He's been at the MNGOP. He's been a lobbyist. Yeah, no new news there when he jumps in because everybody good guy, but. It's not anything new. We're retreading the same thing as some people would say. Tafoya gets in. She's a sportscaster, right? Oh, this is new news. This is fresh stuff. We like this. Fresh ideas.
And she has the name recognition. When I ask you how many are in, there are 10. You're like, really, 10? You might have heard of Adam Swarzy, right? I've heard of him. I don't know if he sent an email, but I've heard of him. David Han, I know, of course. And then Royce White, who, like you say, been there, done that. He's given this a shot. I'm not ripping any of these candidates. There's 3 you might know, but Michelle Tafoya, without spending a dime, you know. You know what I'm saying? She's obviously now a front runner, right? I mean, am I talking out both sides?
If you're a good-looking female, you always got a couple of pluses, right?
What?
So
it doesn't hurt, but the fact she has it. But then good news, bad news, and I'll talk about it. She has been on Fox a couple. I've seen her a couple times on the Gutfeld program, and that's comedy. They make fun. They say a lot of stuff that you probably wouldn't want on your campaign literature. Trying to be funny. I wonder how much that might hurt her in the long run. It'll be interesting to see, I guess.
I will. It'll be interesting. And here's the other thing: she's not a pro-life person. She's a pro-choice.
She's pro-choice,
person.
absolutely.
So you're going to lose that base of the base of the Republican Party part. You're going to lose that part, but you're going to pick up some of that moderate stuff, and you're going to probably pick up some folks that
women in the suburbs
side or the independent side that like that a good mix. So it's going to be a unique dynamic in the race for Senate.
It changes things very quickly. Sir, I am out of time. I love having you on the program. Always have, always will. And when you're finally completely done with politics, I can't wait to have you on this program.
It'll be an interesting foray. I agree. So,
all right. You have a good week, my friend. We'll talk next. It's Senator Jeff Howe on the Al Travis Show.
If it's your turn to host